what's more likely to happen? Shanahan Coach of the Year, Garoppolo MVP, Bosa Defensive Player of the Year, or Aiyuk or Kinlaw winning Rookie of the Year for their side of the ball. If you had to
Maverick, you go first. I need time to think. I'm buying time. Maverick, you have to talk right now.
Well, so I think Shanahan is not going to win Coach of the Year just because I think it's hard to win when you're an already great team and then you have a great season. It's just harder for the coaches to win Coach of the Year at that point. I think if the Patriots win 9 games or 10 games, they're going to give it to Belichick just because he won it without Brady anyways. So it's just it's hard to get Coach of the Year. I'm going to go with Bosa Defensive Player of the Year is my most likely pick. TJ Watt did it with getting a lot of sacks last year, and I think if Bosa can take that leap like TJ Watt did last year, he can get pretty close. I think Watt was up against Stephon Gilmore, so it's pretty much either a corner or a lineman get it every year, and I think Bosa can do it.
I'm going to go Shanahan just because I feel like last year he should have won it. You know, if you look, I believe it was John Harbaugh who had the MVP and Lamar Jackson. I believe what Shanahan did was more impressive. So he should have won it last year. I do think he's in play for it this year. Nick Bosa is a very strong candidate too. If you look at how he played in the playoffs, he had 4.5 sacks, I believe, in 3 playoff games. If he played like that over the course of a 16-game season, he's on track for an Aaron Donald 20-sack year, which definitely puts him atop the defensive player of the year candidates. I just feel like a lot of Bosa's, a lot of his season needs D Ford to be there. And I don't know if you can count on D Ford because if you look at the splits without D Ford, Nick Bosa, he'd apply pressure, but he just couldn't finish the job and get those sacks. He had average a sack like every 3 games without D Ford. So because he needs a sidekick there, I think Shanahan's more likely than Bosa, but they're both going to be in the conversations.
Really good answers. I was going to make a really snarky answer about Bosa being it because after 9.5 career sacks, he's already been inducted into Canton. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So really next year, all he needs is about 7 sacks to be the player of the year. But no, you're right. It's going to be tougher for him, and he might be hurt right now. And honestly, I don't really believe that he's going to be the type of consistently healthy person to maybe win these awards. I think last year may have been an aberration. We don't know. His health history has been bad. So I'm going to go with Brandon Aiyuk just because I watched him a lot in camp. And I think Shanahan is in a position where he kind of needs to justify that pick. He traded up in round 1 for a guy that most people were like, who? I've never heard of that guy. And you didn't want CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's going to have a great rookie season. And I think the Niners are going to feel compelled to justify taking the kid from the Pac-12. And from what I've seen, they may be justified. He looked phenomenal in camp. Now, he was going up against, Kello Witherspoon and stuff, but he still looked really good. Got a little bit of a hamstring injury, but Odell Beckham Jr. had an amazing rookie year after missing 4 games with a hamstring injury. So I think he's going to get a ton of targets, maybe more than Debo. Debo might get more touches because he gets the runs too, but I think Ayu's going to really be the number 1 guy early on and get a bunch of targets and play well. So rookie of the year, maybe most likely. And I'm with you on not Shanahan because you're right. It's usually the guy who takes the team from like worst to first. He had a good chance last year. Mm-hmm. It seems like Cliff Kingsbury would be a front runner this year just because everyone expects that team to go from like 6 wins to 10. So 11,
so
12.
Not picking Aiyuk, but I just think it's really hard for a rookie receiver to get it. You were talking about Odell, but I was looking and even in the 12 games, he had 1,300 receiving yards. Like I think Aiyuk has to really have a monster year. And they always tend to give it to the quarterbacks as we've seen in the past. And I think Joe Burrow, as long as he just has a somewhat okay year, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire with the Chiefs, if they just do what a lot of people think they can do, I think they are the 2 front runners by default.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
I think Aiyuk has to get at least 1,200 yards to be in the discussion.
He'd have to be like a Pro Bowler and have like record-setting rookie year. That was a terrible answer.
Sorry. Not that he.
I just don't think it's going to be Kyle. He could get the makeup call. They could say he took him from what 4-10 to 3-13 and didn't win. He might get the makeup call.
Deserve it. He would deserve it.
Yeah. Makeup, yes. And we hadn't even touched on Garoppolo. For his, I think he has around the 8th or 9th best MVP odds this upcoming year.
Yeah,
He
does.
He had a good year last year. I mean, if his floor is the season he put together last year, like if that's what we can expect from him, anything that goes above that puts him in serious MVP discussion. If the team finishes 13-3 again, I think opposing teams are going to be doing everything they can to hone in on the run game and force Jimmy Garoppolo to be the one to beat them, which gives him more opportunities, just going to push up his numbers. So Garoppolo's a dark horse MVP candidate.
He is. Only thing holding him back, I think, is the inconsistency at receiver. He's got different guys every week.
Yeah, it's tough.
Who's his go-to guy? Kittle. Then Trent Taylor, who's already hurt. And then it's supposed to be Jerick McKinnon. I don't know. That could if he's throwing to Dante Pettis week 1, I'm not betting on Jimmy to win that MVP.
Oh, you're right.
Maybe
Did he only lose 1 game last year with Dante Pettis as a starter though?
Good point.
Not
maybe
serious.
Dante was maybe Dante was the reason they lost the Super Bowl. Who knows what would have happened if he'd been returning punts? Dante.
I mean, yeah, I think Jimmy could like surprise people with the MVP, but I find it hard to believe that with the way this offense works, that he'll be able to put up the numbers just because they like running the ball in the red zone. They like taking control of the game.
What about comeback player of the year, Dante Pettis? I'm serious, Maverick.
It's going to be Ben Roethlisberger or Cam Newton.
Or Jerick McKinnon.
Or Jerick McKinnon. Yeah, I suppose. They got to give some award to Dante Pettis because he deserves it. Best mustache on the team. He's got a good one now.
Better than Trent Taylor?
Yes, better than Trent Taylor's. Trent Taylor's I would give a B-. And Pettis's I would give an A+. Have you guys ever grown a mustache? I've never done that.
No.
I haven't shaved in 5 days. This is what I have. So no.
That's money. I like it. I like that. My father-in-law has just a mean mustache. I really like it. But I feel like I would just look like white trash with one. So but I don't know. Also, the goatee I think would be an awful look for me too. I've been going with the sexy stubble for about 10 years. I think I like it. What do you guys think? Is it sexy? All right, I'm just kidding. Sorry. I'm sorry. You don't have to say that.
Contact for HR.
You don't owe me that.